know there were over 22 million new images of child pornography on the web this past year? That's a 5,000% increase over the past 5 years. It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen.
The Sound of Freedom has grossed more money in the United States than Mission Impossible. And Hollywood does not like this. How amazing is it? My brother works at the theater and told me that in the first week or two of it being released, people were lining up to see Sound of Freedom. The millionth of Tom Cruise's identical movies has been outpaced by The Sound of Freedom, a movie based on a true story about a Giga Chad putting his own life in danger to preserve the beauty and the freedom of the children of the world.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it, and then you gotta make a decision, right?
Yeah.
And my decision was just all in.
A man who fulfills his moral duty as a man to do what he is called to do, despite his odds of success. This movie is beating Tom Cruise's junk movie, which are all movies about low moral standing and inconsistent philosophy of running around and attaching yourself to whatever present female happens to be the most attractive and fighting a fight for the sake of unclear purposes. Tom Cruise, of course, being a famous member of Scientology, which is not to be confused with science or religion. It's a cult. Did you know the producers had to fight against backlash for 5 years before this movie could be released? I read an article while researching for this video and heard opinions describing the movie as controversial. Who writes these things? What is controversial about saving kids from being trafficked, Jeffrey? Hollywood and the rich elites of that city in California have been up to evil activities for some time now. Isn't that right, Harvey? Bill? It should at the least come across as sus that a movie that takes a firm stance against child trafficking was given pushback. Even if the story is inaccurate, it's still about a moral good. Why did they not want this movie, which calls out evil as the despicable thing that it is, to see the light of day? I'm being silly, obviously. Jeffrey Epstein's pedo island has been visited by multiple high-profile people that we know of. Who's to say a lot of Hollywood sketchballs haven't visited this place? The Sound of Freedom is about a man called Tim, played by Jim Caviezel. He busts pedophiles, and his inciting incident is when he realized that beating up pedophiles wasn't doing anything to actually save the children being trafficked. He busts a trafficker at the border and saves his first cow from slavery. He reunites the cow with his elbow, but discovers the cow's sister is still missing. He spends the rest of the movie trying to track down the sister. He does this out of no rational benefit to himself, but because love binds his actions and compels his pursuit. In his searching, he rescues some 50 kids from slavery via an undercover operation. Unfortunately, the sister was not among the rescue. Tom's annoying boss tells him that he will lose his job if he continues the pursuit, because his boss is concerned with American problems and cannot secure funding for operation outside of the country. Tim willingly loses his job and presumably pauses providing financial support to his family in the United States in order to find the sister. The local government even ceases to support Tim. A small army of Marines which supported his previous bust were now unavailable. But Timoteo understands that moral obligation supersedes his outside support. There is a chance that he could succeed, and he is capable of helping, so he tries. In a super awesome undercover operation, he finds the sister and rescues her in an epic gunboat car chase. The sister is reunited with the family, and Tim returns to his rich suburban family. No, these fight scenes aren't as cool as Tom Cruise's fight scene. No, the special effects aren't as cool, but the message is vastly better than any movie this summer. Better than Barbenheimer, and obviously better than cult leader Tom Cruise's movie. God's children are not for sale. There's nothing controversial about this statement, and if you happen to find it controversial, I would find you sus. At the end of the movie, Jim Caviezel put forth an assertion that the hero of the story isn't Jim Caviezel, or even the real life Tim. It's the kids in the story who survived their experience. Because these kids are the victims, and it's their story that needs to be told. This movie depicts some dark things that will make you uncomfortable, but that's the point. You shouldn't really enjoy this movie. You should find much of the evil things depicted as absolutely abhorrent. You can't just cover your eyes and pretend evil doesn't exist. Why is freedom so important? Why is freedom a good thing if people like these traffickers are going to abuse it? Doesn't it make sense to compromise freedom and spy on everyone's house so that traffickers can never exist? False. Freedom is a two-way street. We can't violate people's freedom in the name of freedom. That makes no sense. Freedom is the greatest expression of love. Think about these traffickers in this movie. Are they expressing love for the kids by the despicable things that they do? Of course not. Sex is not love. Sex is an expression of love, which is an unacceptable demonstration of love in all relationships in your life except for one. Freedom is good because it is the truest expression of love. It is saying to someone that you love them so much you are willing to let go of them and allow them to make their own choices. Say you're attracted to someone someone, but are rejected. Then you continue to ask and to continue to be rejected. Then begin stalking. Then become so obsessed that you perform a great evil against this person that you're attracted to. Are you doing so out of love? Of course not. You're doing so out of selfish desire. Giving someone freedom is a choice that in no way serves the people who give it. In terms of personal gain, it makes the most sense to keep people in your service against their will. But because humans are the only creatures on this planet that know love, they must stand for freedom. Why does God allow evil to exist? If he is perfectly good and all-powerful, why does he not stop the evil traffickers? God loves us so much he's willing to allow us to walk away from him. He gives us freedom because he loves us more than we can comprehend. Maybe if we considered and observed his rules and commandments, these evil forces might be forced to withdraw. At the heart of all things and the meaning of life is simply this, and I'll make it a song for you to help you remember.
How deep the Father's love